From the combined newsrooms of KARK4 and Fox 16, breaking news coverage.
Good morning to you. I'm Mitch McCoy here at KARK4 and Fox 16. We're following breaking news right now. We just got confirmation from the Pine Bluff Police Department that a student has been shot at Watson Chapel Junior High. This is been developing now for the better part of an hour and a half or so, as we learned that one student has been shot. This is live video actually right now from the scene. We were just moments ago looking at it looked like video that our Alexis Wainwright was gathering in terms of an interview, but that interview just wrapped up. We'll see if our newsroom can get that in a playback format for us, and we can try and figure out what that person was saying. It sounded like Alexis was talking possibly to a parent, as we learned that one student has been shot at Watson Chapel Junior High in Pine Bluff. We know that a student, another juvenile is in custody right now, and we know that the student has been seriously injured. You see a large police presence out there at Watson Chapel Junior High. This has triggered a massive law enforcement presence outside the middle school there, or the junior high school, I should say. We have seen law enforcement from across the county, including the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, along with the Pine Bluff Police Department. I can only assume that you also have other outside agencies there, as well, as we learn that a student has been shot this morning at this middle school in Pine Bluff, the junior high school in Pine Bluff. There is a lot of things happening that we've been seeing on this shot here for a little while. We've seen some people leaving the junior high building. Our Alexis Wainwright is there. She says some people have backpacks and belongings. Others are coming out empty-handed. This has also brought a lot of parents, as you might imagine, from around the area who have students attending the school, flooding this area to try and pick up their loved ones. And there you see a sheriff's deputy there. Looks like trying to direct traffic. As one might imagine, a lot of parents are going to this school trying to pick up their kids, and so we have a reporter there right now, Alexis Wainwright, trying to get information for you to what's happening and how parents can start picking up their kids. We have just a little while ago heard from the Attorney General of Arkansas, who is saying that please join me in praying for the student injured at Watson Chapel Junior High in Pine Bluff during this morning's tragic shooting. That is something the Attorney General just said. A lot of traffic here at Watson Chapel Junior High in Pine Bluff as we now wait for official word from the police department to what is happening. Again, if you're just joining us, we have been able to confirm with the Pine Bluff Police Department that a student has been shot at Watson Chapel Junior High in Pine Bluff this morning. We are being told that a juvenile is in custody in connection to this shooting at the school. And the newsroom can correct me if I'm wrong here, but we have not been able to confirm just yet the juvenile, if that is a student that attends the school. We're just being told that it is a juvenile that has been arrested. We are waiting on police confirmation at this point as to the relationship between the person that has been arrested and this junior high school in Pine Bluff. You see parents that are now waiting to pick up their kids from this school after learning this morning that a student has been shot at this school. Law enforcement agencies, they prepare for stuff like this. You never want it to happen, but they are well prepared, and that's why at this point we're seeing the law enforcement presence that we are. You're seeing authorities from Jefferson County. You're seeing authorities from Pine Bluff. You're seeing neighboring law enforcement agencies responding to this area. We're also seeing that school bus in the distance as we're learning that we are starting to see students come out of the building and try and at this point one could assume they're trying to just get students home, and that's what we're waiting to see, and we're waiting to see that school fully vacate. We are looking at Alexis's Wainwright's Twitter account here, and Alexis was telling us a little while ago that there are a ton of parents here. This line goes on and on. They are worried. They want to be reunited with their kids after learning that a student has been shot at the school this morning. We are being told that that student is in serious condition after the shooting. We don't know at this point the relationship between the student and the gunman, the other juvenile. We don't know that relationship just yet. I am sure that is something that we are going to be learning in the hours to come as we're starting to see once again this large law enforcement presence outside the high school, or excuse me, the junior high in Pine Bluff. This, of course, you're seeing sheriff's deputies. I've also seen authorities with the Pine Bluff Police Department out there as well. This is something, as I mentioned earlier, authorities train for. Whenever something like this happens, or whenever a call like this comes in, they immediately spring into action and resort back to their training. And I apologize for the shaky video. This is live video coming in to our newsroom, so you see a lot of movement happening with this shot, and that is because you have our photographers and other reporters out there trying to capture video from the scene, and that is what we're watching right now as our photographer gets reestablished here. I want to, and we're working right now on trying to get Alexis Wainwright established here. She's going to be joining us live here in just a moment. But for folks just joining us, and it looks like we have an interview here, let's go ahead and listen in live. Alexis Wainwright is live there at this scene as we learn one person has been shot at Watson Chapel.
Yeah, I just couldn't believe it because there was a lot of confusion going on between was it junior high or high school. But then when I got the verification with junior high, I just got distraught because usually when I text him, he responds back quickly, and he didn't. And through the grace of God, my wife, she had texted me, said, I'm talking to him right now, he's fine. And so after that, I started praying for the individual that was involved, because you hate to hear about any child being shot. And I'm just praying that whoever was shot, that I pray that they get a healing. And I pray also for the individual that did it, because we need prayer right now in the school for these young people, because they're doing so much things that just out of characteristics. And so I'm just thankful. You see I'm here with right now, and as soon as they said they could release him, I took off. I didn't care about the rain or the traffic. I would come to get my son.
Right. And for you guys are back together right now. Tell me how it felt when you guys first came back together in person.
Well, I went over to go get him, and I don't know if he was happy to see me or he ready to get out of school. But the teacher, they were holding him back. He said, my dad right here, my dad right here. And I was just glad to see him, to put eyes on him, because you can read the text message, but when you know that your child is safe and they around you, then it make you feel better as an individual.
Right. And for you, did you hear anything? What was going through your mind while you were in there?
I was scared. Scared I'm gonna get shot. You know what I'm saying? Scared that it might happen to me. Scared to see the body. Scared to see the blood. I was frightened. And
take me through those moments. Where were you inside the building when you first heard a gunshot, or when you first heard that there was a shooting happening?
I was in the hallway. I was walking down, just talking to my friends. Then I heard like 3 bullets came off. Everybody just running from where the bullets came from. Mm-hmm.
And when you heard those 3 bullets, tell me, what did you do right after then?
I got confused because I thought it was a door, and I didn't know what to do. I just sit still.
And tell me how you're feeling right now that you're back with your dad.
I feel good. Amazing.
And tell me what grade you're in and your first and last name, and then spell it for me.
I'm in the 8th grade. My name's Travis Harden. TravisHarden.
Okay, do you mind saying and spelling your first and last name?
Yes, my name is Travis Harden as well. TravisHarden.
Okay. Thank you guys so much. We're praying for you all. I hope you guys have a good afternoon.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes.
Y'all have a blessed
day.
We're listening to that live interview. It just breaks your heart as we're learning a student has been shot this morning at Watson Chapel Junior High in Pine Bluff. You just heard our Alexis Wainwright there interviewing a parent and a student. That student saying that he had thought that a door had closed, and in fact it was a gunshot. Also worth noting here, it sounded like there was some confusion whether between it was the actual high school or the junior high. In fact, this happening at the junior high in Pine Bluff today. And the parent just relieved to be with his son, that dad relieved to be with his son after this shooting at the school. Again, one student shot. That's what we're being told by authorities. We're also learning that the gunman, who we've now learned is a juvenile, is in custody being interviewed right now by authorities. It is our understanding that the student is in serious condition right now, and has been taken to a hospital. And we just heard from that student there talking a little bit about what it was like to be inside that school with all of this happening and all of this unfolding. Saying that he was scared. He was just scared, and we have seen these pictures unfold across America, really, and it's almost the same thing every time. The student was saying that he was scared that he was going to see a body after being let go from the classroom. I mean, that just breaks your heart when you think about this happening at a school. You know, that is the mindset of these kids that went to school this morning. It's our understanding one of their first days back to on-site instruction, and no one ever would have thought, and especially a parent, right? Nobody ever would have thought that they would be sending their kids to school only to pick them up several hours later because they have heard of a shooting on campus and a student being injured. Nobody would have ever have thought that. But then you think about that parent who got that phone call saying that that they have their student, their loved one had been shot. So that is what is unfolding. So as we stand by, we look at these live pictures here, you see a lot of law enforcement on the scene here, and that is going to be the case, I can assume, for quite a while, as we learn that that they have they're trying to just get kids reunited with their parents, and that is something that we are watching here, and we actually just brought that to you live as we learned that the dad there that we just shared with you was picking up his son. I'm actually communicating right now with Alexis, and so we are going to be having her join us live here in just a moment as we learn that she's actually been on the scene most of the morning gathering this information for us. And she has been working a lot of her law enforcement contacts. And I apologize for the delay or the pause in speaking here. I was actually just texting her, letting her know that whenever she has an opportunity to join us, it works for us. Obviously, she is talking with a lot of parents down there, and she is trying to get as much information as we can, so that way we can give it to you. Looks like she's going to be joining us here in just a moment. We have a lot of folks joining in here on Facebook, and I want to just recap what we know for folks that maybe they just got the mobile app alert on their phone. Maybe they were just scrolling through Facebook and now they're thinking, wait, what, there's been a shooting? Let's recap what we know. We know that one student has been seriously injured in a shooting at Watson Chapel Junior High. We are under the impression by authorities that a juvenile is in custody connected to this shooting. We do not know the relationship between the gunman and the victim in this shooting. We don't know that just yet. We don't know the relationship between the gunman and the school. That is something we don't know as of yet. Those are all questions we have, and those are all things that we are hoping to get answers to in the coming hours. One might imagine that the school or at least the police department will be holding an update here in a moment. We do have Alexis Wainwright on scene. She is there live for us right now, and she will join us here in just a moment to give us an update on what we are hearing. And it's important to know that information changes quite rapidly in a breaking news situation like this. When you think about the information, and quite frankly, just listening to the data a little while ago, there was confusion even on the front end of all of this. You know, was this happening at the junior high? Was this happening at the high school? So there was a lot of confusion. This is happening at the junior high building. And so when you look at the information that's changing, and it's changing, you know, quite rapidly, there will still be things that we learn in you know, the hours to come. And so it looks like Alexis Wainwright is, it looks like setting up her shot, and she will be joining us here in just a moment to give us an update on what's happening. And so we will stand by and we will wait for her. But you see that law enforcement presence out there, and they are standing by, and we'll join Alexis here in just a moment. It looks like she's actually dialing in. This goes to show you just how quickly these breaking news situations happen and unfold, and so we're hoping to join her in just a moment. So we'll stand by for her to dial in. For folks just joining us here, we've over the last few minutes here, we have heard from at least one parent from the junior high building who was just relieved. This was a father. He was just thankful that he could, you know, he could hold his son again, and so that was a welcome relief. I know for sure for him. The student describing, you know, hearing what sounded like just a loud door closing, and so in fact it may have been that gunshot going off at the inside the junior high building in Pine Bluff, and so I'm waiting for Alexis to join us here. And so she will join us here in just a moment. So we'll see what happens here. We're texting back and forth, and we are. I'm thinking she'll be joining us here. Keep in mind, sounds like she's trying to get ready for, she's going to be live here across our NBC stations in just a moment. We'll see if we might try and just take some audio. She's going to try and give us a picture here to what's happening. We'll see if that works. If not, we'll try and catch her here on the back end of her hit. But obviously, she's working with several different people, including us, and of course for folks that will be watching our noon news on KARK4. She will be talking with folks on the TV side. So waiting to see kind of how this unfolds here, to see if she has just a moment to give us a quick minute or two just to walk us through what happened. If not, we will take her live here in about 5 minutes at the top of the hour, waiting to see kind of how she is able to work with us. obviously it's very chaotic, especially whenever you're trying to talk with your law enforcement sources. You're also trying to talk with parents. You're trying to get information. You're trying to talk with a million different people. And of course, we want to be as accurate as possible. So, of course, we work with those folks and try and get information as quickly as we can, but also respect the accuracy and the quickness to it. So, waiting to see how that unfolds here. But in the meantime, we are waiting to see if Alexis can just give us this quick update here. There is this situation unfolding in Pine Bluff. We're seeing, looks like we might be able to get a quick update from her. Let's listen in live, possibly here. I don't know if somebody in the newsroom can help me out here. I don't know if we're waiting for her. I know that we've been communicating. In the meantime, what we'll do is we will, if we can get an update from her, we can. If not, we will take her hit here in about 5 minutes on KARK4 in Arkansas today. Let's just recap what we know, because there's a lot of information. It's fluid. It's coming in. And it's changing by the minute here. We know that a junior high student at Watson Chapel has been shot this morning. The suspect, or this gunman, who we're being told is a juvenile, is also in custody. But we don't know the relationship between the gunman and the school. We also don't know the relationship between the gunman and the other students. So that's all very fluid. We don't know any of that. And so at this point, we also know that there is a lot of information still fluid. We know the student is in serious condition. And so at this point, what I think we're going to have to do is we're going to have to wrap up our coverage here, and we will try and circle back with folks here in just a moment. And if you can't, we will join us coming up on Arkansas Today beginning at noon on KARK4, and then you can also join us on Fox 16 News beginning at 5:30 for live coverage, and of course updates on this breaking story will continue throughout the day. For now, I'm Mitch McCoy. Have a good rest of your afternoon.